Hello and welcome to the next episode of Veterinary Ramblings with Sam Morgan.
Yay! Join us as we discuss the fantastic work Sam has done for the LGBTQ plus veterinary community,
as well as advice she would share with her younger self.
We also learn a little bit of Welsh and some top tips for veterinary students preparing for their exams. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Mike Brampton.
And my name is Julian Ho.
Welcome to Veterinary Ramblings. Should we get Sam in?
Oh, she here? Yeah, let's get her in. Go on then. Why not? Bing bong.
Bing bong.
And it's Sam.
Hello.
Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Sam, what do you want to talk about?
Nothing will come out of this that'll embarrass you. It'll embarrass us because that's what it's all about. But, nothing embarrassing.
I don't mind at all. What we have a wee chat about. It's absolutely fine.
What we tend to do is sort of start off somewhere and ramble through.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's take a natural progression through.
Great. Oh, so you're teaching purely on Zoom at the moment, are you?
We have been, yeah. We've been back in college now for the last 2 weeks. But since Christmas, this is lessons. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And are they Zoom groups?
Yeah. So they're groups. Yeah, we have the whole class in on Zoom, and we do a death by PowerPoint, and I taught a very ineffectual instrument lesson by going, oh, can you see that's a hemostat? Which didn't work at all.
Looks like a biro, Sam.
I thought it was a biro.
Yeah, well, I tried to get away with different things, and these are retractors. But
that's a biro as well.
These are Finocchietto rib retractors.
No, that's a corkscrew.
See, it just doesn't work. It doesn't lend itself.
So this is the college that you've been working at for, is it 4 years now, 3 years?
Oh gosh, actually 10 years now I've been there. And
right, gosh.
Yeah, time flies.
So that was a long time
the
before
training provider. I actually co-own it with Kirsty Gwynn now. So yeah, I started working there and then very slowly got roped in over a couple of years to when I bought into 50% of it, which I think must have been done when I was drugged. No, not at all.
Hence, only having Coca-Cola now.
Yeah, exactly. Learn your lessons. So yeah, we moved from there. So we used to be in that business park that's tucked down out of the way of the A40. But last May, during lockdown, is always a good time to move business. We actually moved the college then further into Monmouth. So we got a purpose-built premises now in Monmouth town itself, which is a bit better for the students because it was beautiful down in Wirestone, which was where we were. It was lovely deer park and it was lovely settings.
Yes.
But if the students wanted to go for some food or have a drink, there was absolutely nothing there. So we moved it into Monmouth. So now we have the shops and the pub and the chip shop, of course, which is useful for lunchtime.
So I suppose they could have brought down. Hang on, Julian. Hang on. So instead of sitting on the grass outside in the middle of the deer park, eating their sandwiches, watching the red deer roaming around in the Wye Valley, they can now go to the chip shop.
Yeah.
Ça plus ça change. They would only have eaten the deer to extinction. Yes.
They're students.
Yeah.
Who loves a chippy when you're a student? You can get away with having chips for lunch when you're a student.
I can't anymore.
No.
Not after a year of lockdown.
For sure. I don't think I could ever get away with having chips for lunch. I save them for tea and then I have a few beers, then I have another portion later.
And then you got some cold for breakfast.
You got it. Well, actually, I don't have them cold. I fry them up with some bacon.
Oh, good. Healthy option.
Yeah.
So
the ironic thing was I was always worried about moving the business and having enough time to move from one premises to another while still teaching and getting things on. So I really prayed that we could do it over a half term, something like Easter. But I really didn't anticipate having a whole year to move the business in lockdown.
If only they could close Wales for a year, we could really crack on with it.
Yeah, I think I wished a bit too hard on that one.
You did.
I think you probably did. So when are you actually opening for students to come in again?
Yes, we've been back open now the last couple of weeks, so 2 weeks now. They were in for a little bit just after September, when everyone thought it had died down enough. We came back until Christmas, and then of course lockdown 3.0 or 4.0, whatever lockdown version we're on now.
I think we're out of phase. Well, Wales has done a few more or longer lockdowns, really.
Well, we had a fire break, which was quite, let's throw another new term out there for the world.
Because we thought it was a virus, but apparently the Welsh thought, no, it's a fire.
Fire, isn't there? So yeah, we had our fire break, which didn't work, obviously. And so we then went back onto Zoom from January.
Right.
Yeah.
God, I've done a few Zoom lectures, and they're awful because you can't really interact the same way. I mean, we're interacting here. It's just fun on a sort of 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 basis. It's great, but when you've got a whole group of students, it's difficult enough live to know whether they're engaged and receptive. Yeah. And on Zoom, you're there watching these.
Or even worse, they switch their camera off and put themselves on mute. And then you're like, I could just be talking to fresh air right now. I have no clue whether you're there or not. And
you're saying, so it's vital to use an Air's TP snitting, yes, whatever. Or Slitherlink. But not played that.
Yeah. I think the only good thing was that we are kind of missing back in the classroom is you can do breakout rooms through Zoom, so you can send them off into different rooms, and that was quite nice because then it would give you a chance to get your cup of tea done and the paperwork, and off you go.
Mike's put himself into the waiting room or a breakout room there.
Well, but this is how I would talk to most students. It's just, and I would carry on rabbiting away.
And you're never sure, are you? Are they
Very
actually? Good. Are they paying attention? So, yeah, it's really difficult. But...
Oh, thanks, guys. I'm feeling much at home now. Shall I pop a PowerPoint on because that'll really make me feel comfortable?
If that's all right, go on. No, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think that was a bit cruel of us both turning our videos off at that point, Julian.
Sorry about that.
Actually, that's the first for Veterinary Ramblings. We've never actually done that to a guest ever before. No, training by Zoom is sort of tedious, isn't it? It's ever so difficult. I've been doing a few sessions, and you get taken into theatre, and you can hear beep, beep, beep in the background. You're sort of going, what's going on? How am I going to work on their anaesthesia with this? And then you get sort of a scratchy cam picture of a monitor and a patient. And guys, I tell you what, finish the case, and we'll talk about what you're enjoying, what you're not sure about. And we'll pick it up from there. And then it's always trying to share your screen, hoping that you've got a slide or a picture or a video that is going to be applicable to that situation. And you lose that face-to-face, that personal interaction, don't you? It's
you do, and you lose the non-verbal communication. You can't tell whether people are sort of twiddling their fingers or shuffling around in their seat too much. Or I did a Zoom meeting to a group of retired businessmen 4 or 5 months ago on mushroom hunting and foraging. I've done a series of lectures to them, as a live thing, and did one on mushroom hunting, and I thought it was going okay. There are a few people that you clearly were asleep.
Too many mushrooms.
One who may have been dead, and then suddenly this guy who'd had his microphone on mute for the entire time pressed it on. And I presume he must have thought it was on and he was muting it. And he said, no, I don't know how much longer he's going to ram it on for. You may as well put dinner on now. He's just going on and on about bloody mushrooms. Turned his microphone off again and sat down. It was a low point for me, I must admit.
And did it kind of disrupt your flow, or were you the true professional and just kind of carried on regardless?
I did a double take for about 20 seconds and then carried on regard full.
That's not professionalism, Sam. Don't mistake that for that. It's not professionalism at all.
No.
That's just
There's nothing. I was about to talk about this really quite inconsequential and irrelevant conversation about Tutankhamun, but I won't, because I know that I have this tendency to ramble. Okay, I will then. So I used to be a virologist, and we had a collaboration once with the University of Nottingham Egyptology Department, because they wanted to see if we could discover remnants of viruses in mummies. And having just developed the PCR test for HIV in the country, our team was well equipped to use this to look for other viral genomes. So we had to go up to the University of Nottingham Egyptology Department, and we saw this wonderful lady, Rosalie Davis, who looks and sounds a bit like Margaret Rutherford, the old black and white actor. And the note, the sign on her door just said, "Tut, come in." And it was brilliant. There we go. That was it. I wasn't going to go into, oh yeah, we found some virus, by the way.
Oh, okay. Was it COVID?
It was COVID, yeah. Yeah, they'd embalmed the bat.
What viral DNA did you actually find?
Smallpox.
All right, okay.
Now, we didn't isolate the entire genome. That would, of course, have been very difficult and also illegal. But we did get a little bit of the capsid protein.
Interesting.
Mm.
So was it smallpox that essentially did for the whole Egyptian?
No. They just had smallpox like we did, and most of them got over it.
Right. So,
but it did possibly leave quite a few of them badly scarred.
Right.
So they had to cover their faces with bandages.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. So are we sticking with the aliens built the Giza pyramids?
Oh, definitely aliens. Yeah.
And then did for the whole civilization.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tom Cruise told me. He's a Scientologist. He should know.
Okay. Fair enough. Have you ever met Tom Cruise, Sam?
No, I really haven't. But I believe he's short enough to probably be Welsh, so I probably should know him.
Yes.
Short enough to be Welsh. Can you expand on this?
All Welshmen are quite short. It's to fit down the mines, apparently.
Right.
So I'm really tall for a Welsh person. So most Welsh women are around 5'4".
Right.
So I'm like, the volleyball, basketball playing Welsh person. Yeah.
But they must revere you as some sort of god because you're so tall.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I also can't sing, which a lot of Welsh people apparently can. So I miss that as well.
Yeah, they can sing very well.
Yeah, across the valleys.
Do you speak Welsh, Sam?
I learnt the few choice phrases in school. So I mostly know Carrick Drws, which is close the door, and Boradar.
Boradar.
Boradar, hello. And
Araf.
The only thing, so sit oiti, which is how are you? And I would always answer as a student, wedi blin on lan, which is I'm really tired. And then the teacher would ask me why or Pam, and that would be a conversation stopper then.
I'm fairly fluent in Welsh.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Go on,
ready?
Then. Yeah.
Okay. Max Boyce.
Yes.
JPR Williams.
Yeah.
Gareth Edwards.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Gareth Davis.
Uh-huh.
JJ Davies.
Mm-hmm.
What
Jonesy.
What more do you want? Gareth Henson.
Tom Jones.
I was going to say you missed Tom Jones.
So, if I mention Gareth Thomas and Nigel Owens, I was secretly hoping that the mention of those two names would have something in common, and would actually mean something to you, and you would say they have made a massive difference, particularly in equality rights and especially in Wales.
Oh, I missed me link.
Now.
They've had a massive impact in equality, and especially through Wales and sports.
Have they now? That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
That's probably one of our worst segues ever, Julian. I was thinking I'm going to talk about Nigel Owens, because he's a man that I'm a rugby man. I haven't played for a million years, but I consider myself very much a rugby man. Gareth Thomas himself as a rugby player, massive respect for him, albeit that he plays for Wales and not for England. But that's he was just born the wrong side of the River Wye, basically, wasn't he?
Yeah, poor chap. Not his fault.
Or the River Severn, yeah, not a problem. But Nigel Owens, as a rugby referee, has controlled 30 guys filled with bloodlust at the highest level, right up to the World Cup final. And it's a massive surprise to a lot of people to find out that Nigel Owens, this referee, who commands the respect of everybody that walks onto a rugby pitch and is around a rugby pitch, is actually gay. You didn't know this, did you, Sam?
I didn't, but I don't think why it should be see, this is where I don't see why that should be a surprise. Yeah.
It's a surprise in the typical heterosexual male viewpoint of rugby players and rugby watchers, or the hitherto, I should say, viewpoint, because I think people like that have actually changed the perception within the wider community to the better.
Very much so. Very, very much so. And it's I think it's made a massive difference, to be honest with you. It's at the end of the day, rugby football or rugby union, or whatever you want to call it, is a hardcore macho sport. It's about big guys smashing 7 bells out of each other and dominating the opposition. And for both of these guys I think they both came out near the height of their careers, worried desperately that they would lose friends, family, support, etc., just by doing so. And of course, quite the opposite has been the case. And so, as sort of figure holders or figureheads for the gay community, particularly, absolutely massive characters.
And you've I think done a lot when you were BVNA president.
Yeah.
You did a lot, I think, to help the LGBT community, didn't you?
I did, and even though I didn't set out, and that was always kind of one of my things, because I've been, fairly reserved myself. I didn't come out till I was 30, so I wasn't out long before I started BVNA. So it was always going to be one of these things that, when I was on the road to presidency, this isn't something, my part of my life I wanted to bring about and to say anything about. But then Matt Hennessy created the British Veterinary LGBT group, and I got involved, and he did a role model program on their first year, and I thought, I have to be that role model. And as uncomfortable as I felt, I thought, there's people that feel 20 times more uncomfortable, so I'm there. And as I always remember the sort of the role model picture going out, and they made all these posters, and as much as I said, that's not why I was on BVNA, that's not what I was on BVNA to do, waking up to open Twitter one morning to find the president of the RCVS at the time and the Nick Stace holding up my poster on Twitter, and I was like, oh my goodness, okay, well, now there we are, the whole veterinary community knows, there we go. It's there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But no, and they've gone on and done wonderful things since, and I'm really pleased that I did do that. But it was a surprise, it was something that wasn't in my plan, if you like, to do as part of my presidential role.
Do you find the veterinary community more inclusive than, say, the general community at whole, or is there not a difference at all?
I would say there's not really a difference. I wouldn't say I've ever personally experienced anything truly homophobic, but then, as I say, I haven't been out that. I think that's more the case, that we find individuals now that don't want to come out, don't want to reveal that they're gay or, you know, bisexual or transgender, because they just keep it to them, like I did. I didn't, you know, I didn't feel within the practice that was a comfortable place to do that and to say anything at that time. And not because anyone said anything truly nasty, it was more ignorance, and people use terms out of ignorance. And
yes, and the terms are often so oppressive that it makes you disinclined to say anything, because those terms are a prejudgment in some respects, aren't they?
And that's mostly what I personally experienced. And yes, there are some awful stories. You know, we hear some of, you know, the committee members have been through really, really, really sad things, and some of the people that are contacting, you know, LGBT for support and advice are really sad stories. But yeah, I'm not, you know, a sad story in that way personally, but yeah, I've certainly experienced, you know, just general ignorance in terms, or, you know, just silly things like, oh, I don't need the, you know, being shown a new job contract and saying, oh, but I don't need to include anything about maternity pay in your job contract, do I? And I was like,
what?
Okay, well, why do you think that? So yeah, just a funny term.
That's appalling.
Yeah.
I stunned by that. So, do you? I'm trying to phrase this question. No, me either. I mean, I was going to ask, do you, where you have worked in the past, do you think that that being gay hindered your prospects, or changed the way that you behaved as a vet nurse in a career way?
I kept myself very much to myself for the early part of my career. You know, certainly, you know, I've been out the whole time I've worked at Abbeydale, for instance. That's just been, you know, I was out from the word go, and I can say, you know, at previous places I've worked, I've been a very reserved character, not willing to talk, because I didn't ever want to ask people personal questions, to invite personal questions back, and then, because I never wanted to lie to someone. But I was, in a way, I was almost lying by omission a lot of the time, because I wouldn't reveal certain things, and I would feel I would need to say and be involved in certain conversations that weren't true. And so people I previously with probably didn't really know me. That's how I felt. As now, you know, I do feel people know me, and, you know, and I say part of that, you know, I've got the, you know, just taking that leap of faith and trusting in people to respect, again, you know, who I was after coming out was, you know, sort of that big thing.
I suppose that could be as banal as, what are you doing this weekend, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting, because your sexuality has got absolutely no bearing on your ability to do a job. It's got no bearing on your skill set. It's got no bearing on your knowledge. In fact,
or on your sense of compassion,
empathy,
well-being, sociability, all of these things. Do you tell us at any stage to butt out mind our own business, but do you think that you lost friends or people that you thought were friends at this time? Were the people that well, no, I'm not.
No.
I can't handle that.
I would say I didn't even make friends because I felt that people weren't friends if I couldn't converse with them on a personal level. I wouldn't let them, you know much about me. So I had a lot of acquaintances in previous jobs, but I've got very few friends from
very sad.
my 30s. Yeah, it is now looking back, and I wish I could go back and tell my younger self something different. But
okay,
and again, this is why, you know, I think, you know, linking back into, you know, sort of people coming out as role models is so important to say, you know, this you know, you can still do all this with your career, because absolutely, you know, who you are actually doesn't have that impact. You know, you're not going to be stifled in what you want to achieve just because of who you love, and how you choose to live your life.
so okay, so if you could turn the clock back, then Sam. So you're a, I don't know, let's choose your age, 18 years old. What would you have liked to have been able to tell your younger self? What would you tell your younger self now, looking back?
I would hopefully want to show my younger self a role model of someone who's a lesbian, who has done well in her career, who has friends, who accept who she was, and will not judge her based on that, and to know then what I could have achieved, because all the way through, I very much myself look to role models of, oh, you know, you've got your diploma in advanced veterinary nursing, that's brilliant. I really want to strive to do that. Or, you know, I go to BVNA Congress and see the BVNA president. Oh my gosh, that's something I really wanted to do. But I would have liked that one person to connect with me then on that personal level and say, do you know what? Yeah, I can do that. And that's what it took in the end. It took me meeting some now really good friends of mine and seeing, you know, that they're a lesbian couple and how well they lived, and how, you know, you could do that. Life wasn't going to be extra hard because I was gay, or it was going to be, you know, much different. And it took them as my role models to say, right, okay, now I need to develop my personal life as well. I've done, you know, I've worked my career, and now I want to develop my personal life. And it took that sort of role model. So yeah, I would have liked that back when I was younger as well. And they just weren't there. You know, people were very closed doors.
So that would have changed your progression from 18 to 30.
Yeah, and it's a very sliding doors moment, isn't it? You know, what would I have been like now?
Absolutely, a different journey.
I don't know, you know, have I gone on this journey for the better now? You know, have I got more to give and more to tell having done that? Or what would, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? When you turn left to turn right, you know, what can change at that point?
That's fair comment, but I think it's also worth putting that into context with what the general atmosphere and the attitudes were 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. I mean, yeah, the whole female equality thing, you know, we're talking about female equality irrespective of sexual preference. And we look back, and if we look to some of the states in America, you know, some of the big moves have only been made in certain states in the last 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, so you turn the clock back 10, 20, 30 years, that would have been a groundbreaking thing and a very courageous thing with potentially a lot at risk to have taken those steps. So, you know, I'm sure sometimes you look back and you think, why didn't I do this when I was 18? I'd like to think there's your answer, because probably society wouldn't have allowed you to. So I don't think it's necessarily your fault as such. For want of better words, I'm slightly lost for words tonight. Probably short to have another gin.
You need another gin. Well, let's put it another way. When I first met you, Sam, you were newly BVNA president then, weren't you? So that would have been 2016.
So yeah, I joined. Yeah, so it would have been. I became president in October 2015. So yeah, I've probably seen you first with the PSA.
Okay, 2015. Yeah, or BVNA. Yeah. Yeah, and I was immediately drawn to how bubbly you got a real life about you. There's this. You're lovely. Let's not mince words. You are lovely, and you're fun to be around, to be with. You're knowledgeable, so we're able to have discussion about cases and how you treated them and care plans you did in practice and things. And so it's funny, isn't it? I never considered at that stage that, and excuse my ignorance and I suppose shelteredness, but I never considered that you might have had a tough time with things when you were younger, because you seem to exude confidence in your role.
Yeah.
You are very competent at what you do, and that competence shows through as confidence.
If you meet anyone that I maybe went to school with, they first of all probably won't remember me because I was the quiet kid in the back of the class, but would never believe I would stand up in front of 60, 70, 100 people at Congress and give a lecture. And my passion for nursing has helped that, because I've hidden behind my knowledge. I've really enjoyed my subject, I've learned it, and it's helped me have that confidence to speak to people, and just that whole thing has then snowballed and developed since then. So as I've kind of people that worked with me when I was first training would probably never believe I would end up as BVNA president and be able to talk and do anything like this. So but that all comes back. That's all life experience as well, isn't it? I think we all look back and think, we learn as we go along, and we grow and develop, and we get more confident in certainly things that we know a bit better.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put you on the spot then, Sam.
Okay.
I'm going to put you on the spot. You just said, or you've just given a very eloquent description of what you would tell your 18-year-old self. Now, we know that there are a lot of young veterinary nurses, veterinary students, people coming through the system who are in exactly that same situation that you were in all those years ago. So have you got a message for any of them right now?
Yeah, I think it would be find your person, find who you can talk to, who you trust, and trust in them that you can be 100% yourself, because they will then help you develop you, and in turn you actually fulfill their lives as well, and learn, and it is all about trust, and to have that trust in someone that then if you have made friends with them, you've got good judgment, that they're not then going to belittle you or stifle you, that they're going to help you, and that's what you need. You just need one advocate in this world, and that gets you everywhere, really. Just one champion, one little cheerleader will be enough
at the right time and in the right place.
Absolutely, and doing it for all the right reasons, that they're pushing you to be your best, and to recognize that as well, in whatever you're doing, whether it's personal, professional, sporting. Yeah.
Do you know something, Sam? I think you could be that champion for a lot of people.
I
think you probably are that champion.
Yeah, I agree.
People.
I agree.
That was always my thing. That was my one aim when I wanted to be BVNA president, is I wanted to inspire someone to join BVNA Council, and that's all I wanted. Small aims, but I wanted to inspire someone enough to be passionate about the profession enough to give up their time to say, do you know what, it needs more people to make these changes. And yeah, I just wanted one person. So yeah, I hope.
I'm going to challenge you here without names. Has that happened?
I have had one person come back and say, you're the reason why I'm here. So that meant the world.
Excellent.
That means a great deal. But since your BVNA presidency, you've carried on, haven't you? I mean, you're still involved. You're actively involved in what's it called?
VN Futures.
VN Futures.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? I had to leave BVNA because my time was up. I mean, you're only allowed to do 9 years. I would still be there. They hadn't kicked it. Let's face it. No, it's good for BVNA to have new counsel. But yes, and I've been so lucky they've invited me back as part of their advisory board, which just meant everything. And to be back involved again, especially working with Fiona Andrew, again was.
I don't think you get invited back because you're lucky, Sam.
I did.
I don't think you get. I think you get invited back because you're good at what you do, and you need it.
Oh,
you're going to blow your own trumpet, so I think Mike and I are going to blow it for you.
Yeah.
Do you do mentoring?
So not too much. So to my students, maybe I tutor.
You've got no time, have you really?
No time. Well, I try and make time. You know, if you want something done, ask a busy person, isn't it? That's what they always say. To get that done. But yeah, we kind of, you know, it's part of the aim of the BVNA LGBT group is to act as kind of role models and mentors to those who need it and to go through. So yeah, so I've only been working with them since last summer, so I'm kind of still getting in the flow and in the way of things. So yeah, it's going good. Yeah. Good.
Do you know, I should say at this time, and I feel sorry for not having mentioned it before, to any of our listeners who are vets or vet nurses and are having, for whatever reason, a tough time with things and they are depressed and they need help, then please contact Vet Life. If you're not in the veterinary community, then contact the Samaritans, contact other health groups. There are lots of mental health charities available now. And I only say that because I know we've been talking about some issues that I think may be difficult for some people to gel with. And Sam, thank you very much for putting you on the spot about this, and I appreciate your answers. But Vet Life, Samaritans, whatever is available in America, that's a serious bit over.
That's a serious bit over, is it?
Well, for me.
Have you come across our 60-second CPD? We ask all our guests about CPD.
Okay.
It's all very well me saying, have you heard about 60-second CPD? I haven't even got the countdown clock here. Oh.
Would you be prepared to do a 60-second CPD for us, Sam?
As long as it's not on anything Welsh by the sound wave tonight.
Nothing Welsh. Is it anything you want? Absolutely anything.
Like? Have you prepared a 60-second CPD?
No, I've not.
Oh my word.
Oh dear.
Well, you got 30 seconds while Mike's finding his countdown time.
So, Sam Morgan, 60 seconds on preparing for your assessment, starting now.
Okay. Well, firstly, you're going to need to know exactly what you're being assessed on. So you're going to need to get to grips with your syllabus, what the questions are actually about, you know, how they're going to ask you. Is it multiple choice? Is it short answer? Is it a practical assessment? Because that's all going to help. So knowledge is power when it comes to that. You know, work out how they're going to ask you the questions. If you can get hold of some sample papers, that would be useful. Also, don't be afraid of nerves like I'm feeling now. They keep you on point, they keep you happy and keep you going. So never be worried. You'll never get rid of all your nerves. So don't be afraid of them, work with them. When it comes to revision then, you want to gather all the information. You want to be really honest about the subjects you're looking for and what you're doing, and make sure that you are testing yourself lots and lots. And that's the key to revision, is testing yourself all the time until you're happy and having that confidence.
Nailed it. No, absolutely perfect. Well done. Sam Morgan, thank you.
All exams now, that's just solved everything.
I think it has.
Off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
That was amazing. That was absolutely incredible.
Oh, Sam Morgan, 60-second CPD. Well, off the cuff.
You mentioned riding the waves, though. Riding that wave. Now, you don't do that with paddleboarding, do you?
No, I need to go on my knee. As soon as there's waves, I need to go on my knees because I don't want to go in the water. It's a dry sport.
You're into paddleboarding, are you, Sam?
Do you know what? Coming up to a big birthday, 40, I wanted a cool hobby, and I decided I live by the coast, and I didn't want to do anything dangerous because I'm quite a sensible person. So I thought about what I was going to do, and I took up paddleboarding, and I went on a little course and loved it. And invested in my own paddleboard, which has now been dry ever since because of lockdown.
Yeah.
And things. But yeah, I enjoy paddleboarding, but I haven't ventured far. I've only done a few rivers and some very baby rapids, and that's about it. But
You've done
tricky
rapids
stuff.
on a paddleboard.
Really, rapids is it was more like a babbling brook that I went down on my knees. So rapids just makes me sound even cooler. But yeah, they just outside if anyone's been to Simmons Yacht, but there's like a little rapids there.
I've been to Simmons Yacht a lot. I used to climb a lot there.
Yeah. So there's like.
Are you seriously telling me you have been down Simmons Yacht on a paddleboard?
Yeah, I went from Simmons Yacht all the way down to Monmouth on a little day trip, and we stopped off for lunch on this random pebble bank as well. It was ace. That was last summer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really lovely. Yeah.
I have to say, for listeners and particularly American, Simmons Yacht is one of the most well-known canoeing facilities in the UK. It's on the River Wye. It's actually changed since I first used to visit there, because they've actually remodeled the rapids to make a smoother flow of water. It's a very gnarly place to be, but hats off, respect.
Wow,
Go down Simmons Yacht on a paddleboard. Quite happy doing it in a canoe or a kayak. Thank you very much indeed. But to do it on a paddleboard,
I was on my knees, mind, not standing.
Don't care.
I'm happier climbing up the cliffs just next to it.
Just to the left of it.
Yeah.
Just to the left of it as you're looking down the river.
Yeah, that's it. And there's a very famous climb in Simmons Yacht that opens out into someone's back garden. And I got halfway up that once with a friend of mine, and it started peeing down with rain, and it then became quite treacherous. And so we were not only using the rock as handholds, but any clumps of grass that happened to be on there as well. I was digging my fingers in and trying desperately not, because the rock got quite slippery, and eventually pulled myself up onto this onto the top, and emerged. I must have been brown, covered in mud. Had to wipe my eyes so I could see properly again. And there was this quite posh family having lunch under this canopy, and I think it must have been an engagement party or something. There were about 30 people there. They turned around and saw me. Hi, sorry. And bless them, they gave us both a couple of glasses of bubbly. And we then had to abseil back down again.
Oh God,
afterwards.
The climbers are back again. Kick them off. Kick them off, Boris. Go on, kick them off.
It's a bit like that. But I've done paddleboarding. I did paddleboarding in Northumberland last year. And it's not as easy as it looks, is it? You see all these people sort of just popping down a river. No, it's paddle, paddle, fall, splash. I'm not doing this again, isn't it, really? For half the day until you get it a bit.
Yeah, it can be. It is a lot of the time in the water when you start, but you kind of find your balance, and you can get going.
So
some people don't suit to it at all. My mum tried it and spent more time in the water than on the board, but it seems to be what I do.
What made you take up paddleboarding then, Sam?
I just thought, oh, do you know what? I've left BVNA now. I've got some spare time. I need a hobby. I need a cool hobby. I need something to make me look cool. What can I do? Oh, I live by the coast, so something with water, but nothing too dangerous and nothing I get wet in. So we went through everything where you can be on the water but not in the water, because I do swimming, but only in pools, not in the sea. We got to paddleboarding because I felt that was in my budget as well, because speedboat and yacht owning, not in a vet nurse budget.
Right.
So
no.
Paddleboard, just in my budget.
and you've been down one of the biggest rapids that people use to learn slalom canoeing in the country.
Yeah, all the canoeists have to go to, so you wait for all the canoeists to go to one side and then you go straight down the middle. That's quite fun.
But did you try and get back up it on your paddleboard?
No, we carried all the way down to Monmouth. We never come back up the river. We just carry on down.
It's hard work either way, actually, really hard work trying to go back up the river, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, there were some paddle boarders there that were going up and down the rapids, standing up on there. They were amazing. But yeah, I dropped to my knees, went straight down the middle, and carried all the way down to Monmouth. That was
lovely.
They're just showing off. What I want to do is I want to get a paddle board, and I want to put an engine under it with some props on. Just hit, because you can do that, can't you?
Yeah, that's called a motorboat.
Yes. Yeah, and you can get a little seat on the paddleboard as well with your little motor, and you can off you go.
Yeah, a little gin bar on one side and a lounger. It isn't a motorboat. You're absolutely right. That's what I want. Yeah. No, I do. I want to get a little rotor, a little boat no one can see, and just pretend I'm doing this effortless paddleboarding, because it really is effortless.
You've bought an electric bicycle as well, haven't you?
No.
Yeah, you have. You've bought one of those electric bikes where it looks as if you're pedaling, and you're just pushing a little button, and it's winding you up the road.
No. What I've bought is a hook, so I can grapple onto the back of a car, because it's much cheaper. I think we've learned stuff tonight.
I think we have, and Sam, I think that was a fabulous 60-second CPD. Have you, Julian? Have you got a CPD certificate for us by any chance?
By sheer chance, Mike, I have.
Yeah.
By sheer chance. Here we go.
Oh my God, you have. You've got a C.
I've got a CPD certificate. No, so it says
this has covered everything that we've talked about tonight, doesn't it?
Well, pretty much. There may be a little bit of a workaround to try and explain it.
Prepare yourself for this, Sam. This could get convoluted.
In my defence, it says certificate of what's his name. This certifies that our memories have been completely trashed by a whole year of drinking gin, because we've done that. It's been a year since the first lockdown and our first veterinary ramblings.
Is it exactly a year?
Give or take, you can't remember because of the gin. But we're happy, it says. So it's signed me and him and me. And what have we got? We've got, I don't know if you can see there, a huge rainbow.
Oh.
A huge rainbow that I think is still the emblem, isn't it, for LGBTQ. And this is a rainbow taken at WOMAD a couple of years ago, you know, the World Music and Dance Festival. And you can actually see both ends. And it was like a huge stadium over the whole of WOMAD. Most amazing rainbow I've ever seen.
So what else? What else have we got here?
Well, I'm quarter French, so there's a frog there. We didn't mention tap ears, and I thought because we're not going to mention tap ears, I'll put one on the certificate. I don't have a picture of a paddle board. I don't, but when I was looking up, because I never get these pictures from the internet, they're all pictures I've got of my own taking. And so when I was looking up paddleboard, for some strange reason, it got puddle duck. So I've got a little picture of a duck there. And the thing about ducks is that they are very, very gentle, non-venomous creatures. Unlike the Komodo dragon in the bottom right. Look, I'm sorry. It's a busy day, all right? I'm sorry. Isn't it nice though? Look at that. There we go. All the major food
Komodo dragons.
Animal groups.
Julian, Komodo dragons aren't venomous in themselves.
No, they are. No, they are actually venomous. Yeah, it was long believed that the intoxication was caused by bacteria that were instilled into a wound, but they have actually been found to have venom in their own rights in the rear molars.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was always under the impression that the Komodo dragon, because of the fresh flesh and the fermentation in their mouths and the fact they didn't clean their teeth with Colgate and stuff like that, that it was the infection and the sepsis set in because of bacterial infection transmitted from their mouths, but you're now telling me that they're actually venomous.
Yeah, they are actually venomous. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Don't truck with a Komodo dragon.
Do not ever truck with a Komodo dragon.
I've got a better link for your frog though.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah. So frog in Spanish is rana, and the first veterinary nurses were registered animal nursing auxiliaries, ranas.
Right.
And that's why we.
I'm going to have to correct you a little bit.
Okay.
It's Grenouille. But rana is the Latin, of course, for frog, and Royal Animal Nursing Auxiliary. Brilliant. You're absolutely right. Rana.
And that's why we wear bottle green.
This is Rana pipiens, in fact, the common English frog. But yeah, brilliant. Well done. Yes,
Don't
Rana.
encourage him, Sam.
But Grenouille is the French for frog.
Oh,
Cuisse de Grenouille calls frog's leg.
rana is frog.
Is it? Well, that's very much similar to the Latin.
Yeah, she
Can't
did
remember the
actually
Greek
say
is.
Spanish, Julian.
I thought you said French.
No, she said Spanish.
I was thinking French. I do that.
Yeah, affected the ears.
It's look at the
Two of these.
year of.
How does it go, Sam? You're a teacher. Two of these, one of those. Use them in that order, please, Mr. Hode.
That's it. If we were made to speak more than we were to listen, we would have been given 2 mouths.
Oh, I like that one. I could see you as a school mom. Yes. Yeah.
I feel suitably admonished.
Yeah, so do I actually now. Sam's just told me off. I can hear her saying it. Brampton. So, Julian, have you got a joke for us tonight?
No. Oh, I have. Yes. I have actually.
That's brilliant. That's excellent. That's one of the best jokes you've told in the whole series.
Oh,
that wasn't it.
That wasn't.
Oh,
Sorry, Mike. That wasn't it.
Okay.
No. Sorry. No. It was a rugby joke. I got it all ready because I knew we'd be going on about rugby tonight.
Okay.
Shall I tell it anyway?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Okay. But by these two Welsh rugby fans, and of course, the real fans. So every single Sunday they go off to a rugby match, and they've been doing this ever since they were school kids. Every single Sunday in the season, off they go. And then when they're getting older, and one of them says, "Do you think when we die, do you think we'll still be able to watch rugby?" He said, "Well, what do you mean? We'll be dead, isn't it? Well, is there rugby in heaven?" No idea. Well, tell you what, why don't we make a deal? Whoever dies first, they come back as a ghost and tell the other whether there's rugby in heaven. All right then, so they solemnly shake hands on this. And sadly, it was the very next day that one of them dies. He gets hit by a bus, out like a light. And he goes up, well, presumably to heaven. The other chap doesn't know. And he's sitting in his room one night, having a beer, waiting for the rugby to come on. And he sees this sort of shimmering over the corner of his eye. And he looks around, and it's his friend. He says, "You're back. You're back from the dead." He says, "I've only got the one night. I can tell you, there's good news and there's bad news." He said, What do you mean? What do you mean? There's good news. There's good news. Okay, there is rugby in heaven. So that's fantastic. What's the bad news? Well, you're going to be scrum half on Sunday. So yeah.
So he's only got 2 days to live, and he's the scrum half on Sunday. That's very, very good, Julian.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's one of the best ones.
Is it?
Yeah. Let's get Lisa.
Thanks.
Get
Oh,
Lisa.
thanks. That's very
Get
good.
Lisa back.
It's kind of you, Mike. I thought you hadn't enjoyed it, but that's good. Thanks.
Yeah.
One of the best ones. Thanks.
You're scrum half on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he'd be dead, you see.
Yeah.
Bad news. Yeah.
Yeah. Good news and bad news.
Yeah. Shall I do it again in a Welsh accent? It'd be funnier.
No, it won't.
No, wait. No.
At this point, Sam, we can stop being polite.
Okay.
Sam Morgan. we should say thank you very, very much for coming on Veterinary Ramblings tonight. It's been an absolute honour and a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, it's been lovely talking to you.
And may your dog go with you.
Sam Morgan, may your dog go with you.
May your dog go with you.
Cheers. And if you've liked what we've put together for you tonight and shared with Sam Morgan, then please don't forget to click like, share, pass it on to your friends. And if we've raised anything that you feel we need to cover more, or we need to cover differently this evening, let us know. Let's take it on. And if there's anybody you feel we ought to be talking to, tell us. Get in touch with us and we'll work it through. So thank you very much indeed for listening to Veterinary Ramblings. Sam Morgan, thank you very much indeed.
No worries at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And cut!